Switch a leaf. The Democratic National Convention. The Democratic National Convention, what was it? It was nothing but a low bar, low platitude, quintessential deep state, neoliberal, conservative Democratic National Convention. That's exactly what that was. They showed no empathy or no support or solidarity in terms of the progressive aspects and elements that have risen up in our country. They showed no pleasure to have us inclusive with the Democratic Party. People looking nice, giving speeches, just saying to vote for Joe because he's just a great person and Donald Trump is not. They're betting on it this time because this time it actually looks like the numbers are gonna come around for them. Now, are the numbers changing in many ways and aspects? Yes. Will Joe hold on to his election all the way throughout election day? Perhaps. He's holding a consistent lead right now in the polls as I speak. For the most part, it was low bar, low platitude, quintessential elitist politics. They just come out and say pretty things and nice things and tell you to vote for Joe. God, I wish I could look you in the eye and tell you we had a progressive party to vote for right now, or a progressive platform to actually vote for and to support leading into the general election, but we just don't. We don't have that. We have these two low bar, quintessential deep state political parties that the deep state political donors fund and prop up in order to do well and so they can have this threshold and political dominance on our political system in this country. And it's quite frankly sad, but it's been working for a long time and is continuing to work because the voters are showing them that they can do it. The Democratic National Convention had less views than they did in 2016. That should speak volumes to you. That should speak volumes to the neoliberal conservative Democrats in the party, but they don't really care because they've been doing this for quite some time now. And hell, like I keep saying, the voters are proving their very point. People forget and miss this aspect and point right here. Joe Biden has brought out more voters than at any other point in time in Democratic primary history. That's a fact. But yet we have the Democratic National Convention had lower views than they did in 2016, but he still brought out more voters than at any other point in time for a primary in US history. People are missing that point. But hell, they've been able to do it. Him picking Kamala Harris as his VP is showing that they can continue to do this identity politic, deep state narrative type of moves, and it is gonna prove to hold up for them.
I accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States of America.
This administration has shown it will tear our democracy down if that's what it takes for them to win. So we have to get busy building it up by pouring all our efforts into these 76 days and by voting like never before.
This can't be another woulda, coulda, shoulda election. If you vote by mail, request your ballot now and send it back right away. If you vote in person, do it early. Become a poll worker. Most of all, no matter what, vote.
There is no vaccine for racism. We've got to do the work. For George Floyd, for Breonna Taylor, for the lives of too many others to name, for our children.
Donald Trump's ignorance and incompetence have always been a danger to our country. COVID-19 was Trump's biggest test. He failed miserably. Today, America has the most COVID deaths in the world and an economic collapse. And both crises are falling hardest on Black and brown families.
I've seen firsthand Donald Trump's disrespect for facts, for working families, and for women in particular. Disrespect written into his policies toward our health and our rights, not just his conduct.
This president and those in power, those who benefit from keeping things the way they are counting on your cynicism. They know they can't win you over with their policies. So they're hoping to make it as hard as possible for you to vote and to convince you that your vote does not matter. That is how they win.
I've been guided by the words I spoke from the first time I stood in a courtroom. Kamala Harris, for the people.
To the young people watching, don't give up on America. Despite our flaws and problems, we've come so far. We can still be a more just, equal country with opportunities previous generations could never have imagined.
Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about. We need leaders who will solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them.
We stay in this fight so that when our children and our grandchildren ask what we did during this dark chapter in our nation's history, we will be able to look them squarely in the eye and say, we organized, we persisted, and we changed America.
Do not let them take away your power. Do not let them take away your democracy. We are going to bring those words in our founding documents to life.
Let's fight with conviction. Let's fight with hope. Let's fight with confidence in ourselves and a commitment to each other, to the America we know is possible.
Yeah, the Democrats might lose. These people keep bringing out Hillary Rodham Clinton as if she's this success story in the Democratic Party. Hillary, who would listen to you? Why should we listen to you? Like, you're dismal and you are pathetic. You are a terrible, the most terrible candidate in the history of United States politics. I'll even go that far to say that. But yet the Democratic Party believes she's this success story, and because her last name is Clinton, she's automatically claimed to royalty within the Democratic Party. That's sad.
We must be. You know, all elections are important. We know in our bones this one is more consequential. It's a great honor and humility. I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
I'm Andrew Yang. You might know me as the guy who ran for president talking about math and the future. We must give this country, our country, a chance to recover. And recovery is only possible with a change of leadership and new ideas.
People often think that they can't make a difference, like our civil rights icons. But every person in the movement mattered. Those who made the sandwiches, swept the church floors, stuffed the envelopes.
The very ring on my finger, a wedding we celebrated, here where I'm standing, reflects how this country can change. Love makes my marriage real, but political courage made it possible, including that of Joe Biden, who stepped out ahead even of this party when he said that marriage equality ought to be the law of the land.
Of a human being who is empathetic, who is honest, who is decent.
Let me take a moment to speak to those of you who have lost the most. I have some idea how it feels to lose someone you love. I know that deep black hole that opens up in the middle of your chest and you feel like you're being sucked into it. I found the best way through pain and loss and grief is to find purpose. We know about this president is if he's given 4 more years, he'll be what he's been for the last 4 years. A president who takes no responsibility, refuses to lead, blames others, cozies up to dictators, and fans the flames of hate and division.
What is Joe saying? Final address to the country in terms of what is he going to do for you in your everyday life? Not a damn thing. He's literally just saying, I'm a better person. The soul of our country is way better than this. Help revive the soul of our country. Let's revive the soul of our country. Come on, man. You aren't black if you don't vote for me. Come on. What's wrong with you? Literally all I hear whenever I hear Joe Biden speak at this point in time. But other people, they hear Uncle Joseph Biden and it just does something to them. And I can't really tell you what, but it does something to them. And I've had arguments with these people, so this is why I know he has strong support with the average Democrat that just wants to see times go back to normal. There are more Democrats in the United States than there are Republicans. So if he's brought out more Democratic voters now than at any other point in time, even more than the first actual black president, what do you think is going to happen on election day? The Democrats might lose. I know the polling and data is indicating to a Biden victory right now, but one can only wonder how can he possibly pull it off when an actual formidable candidate in Hillary Clinton that could actually think and speak well and actually debate how she could lose but Biden's going to win. And I'll just go to the simple fact of the Obama nostalgia, and voters are actually scared now because of the Trump-Pence administration. A lot of conservatives don't believe that white voters are trickling over in massive numbers to the Biden column because Trump won white voters over by quite the margin. Now Biden leads him with white voters by over 5%, when Trump won that same demographic by close to 15%. That's a 20% swing for Joe Biden. So Biden is dominating Donald Trump with white voters right now, which will tell the story of this whole entire election. Most white voters are, quite frankly, really going through it because they're real people and they're feeling the enormous effects from this recession, from this pandemic, from their everyday life, and they just want a sense of normalcy again, not the chaotic president we have now. But yet, let the conservatives tell it, let the Trump supporters tell it, let the Trump base tell it. Donald Trump is the greatest president in the history of our country, and even he'll say that. And to some degree, they have their rights to that opinion. He has challenged the status quo, and he has gone after the deep state, not really to the effect that one would have to go to make significant dominant change in our country in terms of the bureaucracies and institutions, but somewhat. He's made a bit of change, fired a couple inspectors generals, but nothing too major in terms of actually dismissing a whole entire Pentagon or State Department. He hasn't done anything to that effect. So this is a big reason why they have matriculated a lot of the once strong, staunch Republican suburbanite base, because Democrats are now winning those people. Continuously winning those people with steady and consistent margins, performing above 50% or close to it. Trump hasn't even gone above 45%. Touched it, but he hasn't gone over it. I was going to tell you 3 takeaways from this video, but in terms of the Democratic National Convention, but there are none because they don't exist. The Democrats are pathetic. They're literally just pathetic people. When the convention first came on, it looked like a Republican convention from 1994